electrical and HVAC.
Welcome to the Bold, White, and Blue podcast, brought to you by Ace Plumbing, Electric, Heating, and Air.
Yeah, Josh, it's good to be here finally.
I'm so happy to get this thing kicked off and rolling.
Yep. And I know you're anxious to get me up here as the owner of Ace Plumbing, Electric, Heating, and Air and interview me first and foremost and get me to answer some questions for you today. I think the first question you asked me was, what is Ace Plumbing, Electric, Heating, and Air?
Right.
And simply put, it's just that. We're a residential plumbing contractor. We do residential electrical work. We do residential heating and air conditioning work. We do specialize in residential, and that is something that I definitely like people to know, because people pass by our shop, they see the equipment out here, and they're like, they must do industrial, they may do commercial. We do not. We specialize in homes. Our technicians are specially trained to deal with customers. They're vetted, drug tested. They are just very, very good guys that you can feel safe with. So we've put a lot of time and energy to separate our technicians, and so we feel it's very important that we separate ourselves in that messaging as well. So we are a residential company.
Right. So there are, a lot of just plumbing companies, or, the three-headed beast, however you want to say it, in this area, even regardless, just everywhere. What makes us different? Like who is Ace?
And that's a good question, because with a name like Ace, it's a fairly known acronym. It's something that's, it could be a number one pitcher, a number one fighter pilot, a great card to have in a poker deck. So there's lots of ways that Ace is used. But who is Ace? And I think every company has a who, and of course, I'm one of the who's in Ace as the owner. We have technicians that are faces behind these operations, yourself, putting a tremendous amount of work into pricing to make sure customers get the right price on every single product. A lot of training goes in. Shane is a who, Trina, Madison, a lot of these people that you may have heard, people may have heard about are going to be on this podcast at different points in time. So we want people to know us as individuals in the community. We do a lot in the community. We sponsor sports teams locally. Mm-hmm. We sponsor lots of different events, yearbooks, and you pretty much, if you come to us with a reasonable request, that we're going to want to try to give you something. So we say, hey, instead of just saying Ace gave you this money, or Ace is buying into your work here in the community, we want you to know that Justin's buying into you, right? That Josh is buying into you, Madison's buying into you. So we're here, we live here, we shop here, our kids go to school here. And we just want this to become that type of platform to where your business, your voice can come up here and be heard at any given time without having to pay money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And to clear up one point that can be confusing for people whenever they contact us or are looking for us, or, however they're trying to find us, that our website is acehomeco.com. That's still the same everything. Still Ace Plumbing, Electric, Heating.
That's a good
how does
point.
that relate?
That's a good point. We do have multiple different landing pages and domain names associated with this, but Ace Homeco is kind of a special one. You'll see that one on the trucks, because we teach all of our technicians to make every home an Ace home. And what that means is that while you may have gotten a call to fix a gas leak or a water leak in a yard, or need a water heater, or a sewer drain is backing up, whatever the case is, you're called out there. You give the customer the opportunity to not only fix the initial problem, but also to upgrade. We give them the options to enhance their homes. I know I was really pleased with the technicians that came out to my own home. I like to test them sometimes. And I had them just give me an annual inspection of the plumbing systems in my home. I now have a nice encapsulated crawl space. You're going to see a funny video pretty soon of me eating French fries right off of my floor in my crawl space. And that's very important. I mean, that tells you the difference between a crawl space that you crawl in, you fix a leak, versus one where the technician said, this is the level between you and the dirt.
Right.
There's creepy crawlies in there, there's mold, there's all these different things, humidity, lots of different things underneath the home. Are you comfortable with that? Many people are, and that's fine. And we're going to fix that leak and tell you to have a nice day, and please call us again. Other people say, I never really thought about that. I go under my house quite often, and I can't stand the way it is under. I can't stand the way it smells, or I can't stand the spider webs under there. I don't have any light to get in that back corner, and that's what we do.
Right.
So a lot of generally with the ACE home, that person is generally a plan member with us. So we over time, maybe over many years, begin to enhance their home. And it's done for a very, very nominal fee, and they get great discounts. They get all the cutting edge stuff that we run across: water filtration, air quality control. We do lots of different types of things that people don't really think of when they think I need a plumbing guy, or I need a heat and air guy, or need a electrician to hang a ceiling fan for me. Of course, we do all those things, right?
A quick fix, that's like you're passing the test. You get a 70. Yeah, that's a pass, but there's a difference between passing a test and acing a test. You know what I mean? Well,
yes and no. I mean, that's a good statement. So let's say you're a landlord and you have a rental home and you call us, okay, and you just need some basic work done. We're not gonna bother you if that's what you want, But at the same time, you may have a young couple who inherited a home that's maybe older and needs some repairs, and they don't really. No, they need guidance. They need leadership. They need understanding. It's like, I want to protect my first asset, and I want to make it so that when I give this to my kids or I sell this, whatever the case is, it's better than when I purchased it. And a lot of the upgrades that we give people, or options we give people, we've changed out old galvanized piping under the home. It's not healthy. It leaks. Okay, a lot of old copper piping, rolled copper piping, things like that. It needs to be upgraded. It's old. It's 50, 60, 70 years old now. Some of it, cast iron sewer drains that continuously clog, that are full of grease. We'll jet them, and we'll continue to keep them working to the best of our ability. But maybe it's time, instead of sitting there and charging someone hundreds of dollars to fix these things over and over and over again, to say, hey, for a few $100 a month, why don't you make your home new again?
Right.
And it's just a lot. A lot of people say, oh, that's an upsell. And it really is tiresome sometimes to have to combat that, because while, yes, we're in the business to make money, and that we do get paid for those services, you also get paid for those services. I can't tell you, I have a home generator ACE installed for me. I have water filtration. I have 2 tankless heaters. I have an encapsulated crawl space. I have new duct work. And I can guarantee you, when I put my house on the market, I will get every penny of that back with interest.
Definitely.
So I'm not losing money. And so I feel like sometimes taking care of a customer is a whole lot more important. You can do that better by educating them than you can by just listening to them. I'm gonna go on a little tangent here. So when you go to the doctor, Josh, and you say, Doc, I'm having a little bit of a chest pain. Do you want him to just listen to you and say, okay, I listen. I see you have a chest pain here. I'm going to give you some antacid pills.
Probably not. That's definitely
and you take the
it.
antacid pills and you feel a little better. You come back and you say, I have a chest pain. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some more antacid pills. That worked last time. You go home, feel a little better, and you come back. My chest is hurting again. Well, I'm going to give you some antacid pills. At what point are you going to want that doctor to stop you and say, you got more of an issue here. Let's get into it.
Right.
And you're going to want him to be an authority in your life. And a great service company and great technicians and great owners and leaders in a community need to take that stand. I don't care if someone thinks I'm upselling them. I'm just going to tell them the truth. Your home needs an upgrade. Your plumbing's too old. You'll save money. I don't want to spend $5,000, $10,000 on a water or sewer pipe upgrade. But will I? If I know I'm gonna get the money back, especially, of course. Especially when you have a company that makes it super easy. Like we have financed those things just in-house for people just because it was necessary, and they've been always superb in just paying us back when they can. We have great financing options for people to have low monthly payments. We have interest-free options. We have a lot of options. So there's no reason that we can't help a person. Right. So answering maybe what is ACE Plumbing, that should help. Who ACE Plumbing is and why my technicians are going to come out and talk to you about these things should help. And truthfully, I feel like if any service company doesn't do that, they're doing a disservice. I had a termite guy go to one of our customers and saying, I'm not going to give the name, but you have a water leak in the back of your house. You got bad water issue back there. And we were just under that house. This was years ago. We were just under that house. They gave us a call back, said, the plumbing leak that you fixed is leaking. We went out there. It wasn't leaking. But at the back corner of the house, there was another leak. Okay? So after that, we said, you technicians, you go into our house, crawl the perimeter, crawl it every inch, put your light on it, put your eyes on it, go to the toilets, pull back the insulation, look and see if there's any kind of sign of leakage from the top down. Because those are very common problems that people can go on for years. And rot out floor systems under bathrooms, very expensive projects to fix. Now that's a requirement in our company, right? Why? Because that was an embarrassing conversation, a frustrating conversation for that owner.
Right.
They thought we did a poor job. Then they thought we did an incomplete service to them by not showing them what was wrong. So it is kind of our obligation to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing, that we've been putting out more so recently in the company is this bold white and blue.
Yeah.
We've got it on the billboard right now, right there by that Walmart turn. It's got all kinds of stuff on there, but that bold white and blue, even the name of this podcast, Bold White and Blue Podcast. Can you break that down and explain that?
Absolutely. Think about this. If I'm a customer or if I'm a technician and I'm going to a customer, let's say you're a really smart guy, you're an engineer, and I'm a 20-something-year-old technician that knows his stuff, but certainly is not maybe as educated or as smart as that customer. And you have to go tell that customer problems that are problems. And that customer begins to challenge you. What do you need to be?
You got to be bold.
You got to be bold. You got to be authoritative. You have to know what you know. And we have technicians that are very, very smart. They may be young, but they know what they know, and they're not wrong. They have the tools, they have the training, they have the experience now. I had one young technician. He's 27 or 28 years old. He's been doing this about 4 years now, and he gets challenged from time to time. He says, "Son, you look too young to do this." And his exact response is, he said, "Ma'am, I do 500 jobs a year." And I was surprised by the response. That's a great response. I didn't realize that you guys were being vetted like this. But he said, "Ma'am, I do this 500 times a year, and my day looks like I'm working on a gas line, I'm installing a water heater, and I'm fixing a kitchen sink, and I do that every single day, day in and day out. I can help you." And so we teach our technicians, lean on that experience, lean on your training. Lean on the support you have, that if you do make a mistake, this company's going to back you. We're going to give you a great warranty. We work on it. We touched it. A year later, it's a problem. We're covering it for you.
Right.
100%.
So is there any relation to, I know our trucks are white and blue. So it kind of started as bold white and blue trucks. Is there anything else to those colors to you?
Well, yeah.
As why?
Yeah. I mean, that white's a neutral color, right? To me, that says that we're balanced, we're fair,
right.
And we're open. As if you look it up, white is an open color. So we're open to solutions that you may have, because we have, like I said, for instance, an engineer customer, he may say, "Hey, Justin or Tony or Shane, do you think I can do X, Y, Z? Can I put a fire pit over here? Do I have enough gas to run it? And I can also put a generator over here and a tankless water on the other side of the house. Can I do that?" Okay. We want to always tell that person, yes. That's not easy. Okay, the scenario I just gave you requires a tremendous amount of gas. Some homes carry enough gas through the meter to do that. Some do not. But we know how to get it there. We know how to make the solution for that. Whether it's upgrading the meter, bringing a 2-pound system, even an auxiliary propane tank maybe for one of the fixtures, we have lots of solutions. So we think that white tells you we're going to give you a yes, and it's going to be fair, and we're going to be balanced.
Right.
And the blue, I mean, the blue is just kind of a color that symbolizes professionalism, authority, trustworthy. And I think our customers that know us are pretty confident in us, right. Those things. And we have, of course, all the accreditations to go along with that, the licensing, the insurance, and so on and so forth.
So for what we're doing here, it's Bold White and Blue Podcast. Why exactly are we doing this podcast? What are we looking to accomplish with it?
Really what I want to do with this is just establish ourselves as an authority in our industry, obviously. And I want to establish a connection with other authorities and other people in the community that no matter what they do, they provide a great service to us. I want them to have a voice. In growing this business and coming to, the Piercetown community in Williamston, I remember many times knocking on a business's door or an owner's door to talk to them and tell them, hey, this is what we do, or right down the street, maybe leave a door hanger. And you get the gatekeeper, maybe the Ring doorbell, or it may be, a secretary. And we, I remember just thinking, man, if I could just talk to them, I got something for them.
Right.
And we experienced that here, where people will come to see me and they knock on the door. Maybe it can be an insurance guy, they get a bad rap, but a lot of them have some good products, and, insurance guy, or maybe someone with heavy equipment. We get a lot of those that come by to talk to us, or other suppliers, material suppliers, or maybe it's someone looking for a job. And, there's always that door, the window to talk to the secretary, the next door, the walk down the hall to the owner's desk.
Right.
And I really kind of wanted this to be like, hey, look, I'm just me. I'm just Justin. Kids in the school, coach some little league baseballs, a little bit of travel ball, sponsor a bunch of high school football teams. At the end of the day, I just want to be in my community.
Right.
I want to eat local restaurants, and I want to have local friends. And and I think most business owners are like that. But we've kind of gotten into a society where everything is there's a doorkeeper everywhere you turn around. Right. You just can't make a connection. And at the end of the day, we are all actually very interconnected, right? I go down to the landscaper supply very regularly. They work on my mowers. They work on your mowers. My guys actually work for me. I work for my neighbors. I have neighbors that use our services. I buy things from them, their services. I like, Bob and Lisa's produce down there. A lot of people go there. Everybody is interconnected in this community in some form or fashion. If they're not, they should be more. Right. And I believe in that. While I know we have to have things like, Google ads, and we have to honor to some degree Yelp platforms and things like that, I don't feel like that needs to be the authority in a small community.
Right.
They do a good job with their algorithms and their reviews, which we all know can be manipulated and can be biased. They can be way off mark. I know. I'll give you an example. We sponsored a high school. We put a billboard in the end zone, and that money obviously goes to helping that program do what they do. And they need equipment. They have sponsors like our company and many other companies in the area that give them money. So we did this scoreboard, and I took a picture of it, or actually one of my customers took a picture of it, sent it to us, and I said, I'm gonna post that on my Google My Business page, so that the customers and the people in that community see, hey, they sponsored not only Wren, but they also sponsor Palmetto, or maybe Easley, or different other high schools. We're equal opportunity offenders there. We sponsor Berea High School baseball and football programs to some degree. Anyway, Google said that violated their standard. Why? I don't know why. I'm assuming because, hey, there's actually advertising that's being spent somewhere other than with this big platform. Okay. That money is used better. I'd like my money to go to Palmetto, Easley, Wren, you in the form of a rebate. A customer who says, Justin, I have almost enough money to get the system I want, but I don't quite have enough. Hey, let's apply a discount for you. Let's get that system you want, right?
Right.
So I would love to give my marketing budget into the community and have the same return on investment. And every business owner wants that. Every single one of them. I guarantee you, I'm not going to talk to one business owner that's going to say, oh no, man, I don't want to give anything to the community. I just want to give it to Google. I really love Google ads. I mean, that's not happening, man. Let's be real.
Nobody.
So that's, we just want to say, hey, let's start talking. Let's start putting our foot down. And I mean, look, we're not going to change the world we live in. I mean, if you want to scale, if you want to grow, certain of these things are just going to be there. But you can still have friends. You can still have relationships.
Right.
So this is definitely a space that other businesses are welcome to use to advertise their business, share their expertise. And we are going to get technical sometimes. We're going to talk about a few technical things, but that's not what this is.
Right.
Right.
Because we're more, like you said, these big platforms that have all these gatekeepers and, pay me this and you can rise to this point on the charts
Let's
or however you
let's
want
just
to
be
do
that
it.
platform. I mean, why not?
Right.
I mean, this is simple. I mean, it's, a few $1,000s worth of equipment sitting up here and knocking on some doors. I talked to a guy, if you what's it called, the Bistro? We ate lunch the other day.
Yes,
Bistro at Cobb's Glen. You should check that place out. Great food. We went there. He's actually Tim is actually a customer of ours, and boy, has he been through the ringer with some of this stuff. Even now, he was sharing with me that some other plans that he's going to have to do, and some other hurdles in his business he's got to jump again. So I was talking to him, and I was like, Tim, why don't you just come out and just start letting people know more? He said, Justin, I'm on a golf course. I have great food. I'm a great restaurant, but everybody thinks I have to be a member to come here. And I said, well, advertise that you're not. Well, what am I going to do? Put a billboard up? I'm a small bistro. I can't afford a billboard. I said, man, jump on the podcast. We'll tell you how that goes. So, I want Tim to come here and tell his story.
Right.
I want other people to come tell their story.
Right.
'Cause
that's really what a community is. It's just the interconnected, like you said earlier, the stories that everybody is. Everybody's life somehow weaving
like
into
his
other
food?
people's story. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I ordered 2 hot dogs.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
A hot dog rarely wows you.
Yeah. And
Like,
it did.
honestly, it was great. And
Yeah.
he even said, this is small, but hey, what kind of chips do you like? Usually they're just going to walk over and drop you a bag of original Lay's or here's some salt
Especially
Ruffles.
a hot dog stand. Right.
You're right. It's nothing special. But he said, man, like, what flavor? I said barbecue. He's basically like, say less, man.
Yeah.
Got the good ones. and brought them over.
I had the bistro burger and onion rings, and I actually have gone out of my way on Sunday to go get those onion rings. They're good. So
It was a great lunch.
hey, if you're in the community, if you're on my Facebook page personally, or you're on Ace's Facebook page, the Bistro at Cobb's Glen is a place to go. And hey, if you're getting out of church on Sunday and you don't know where to go because everything's packed, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. That's where you go. Okay, and you can play around the golf if that's your thing.
Just have yourself a good day all
Have yourself
around.
a good day, man. No, but anyway, Tim's got a story. I'm not gonna tell his story today. I want him to have his opportunity because there's a lot to it, and there's some good points.
Right. So, for scheduling with the podcast and everything, for people to have foresight to know when is this coming out and everything. We'll be releasing it every Monday. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole ringer. Even on our social media pages like Instagram, TikTok, things like that. We'll post short clips from it.
Awesome.
And have a link to say, hey, you click here for the full episode. But Mondays, you'll get a new episode each week.
This is going to be fun, and I have a feeling that I'm going to learn so much. Again, I hope people don't think this is about making money. Everything we do can turn into $1. Everything your business does can turn into $1. But more importantly, how much enjoyment are we going to have? How much have we had already? And just soul searching, like, who are we? What are we in this business for? How do we want our pricing to look? Hey, we can have people, you can even ask questions. If you have technical questions or you have pricing questions, or if you want to be on the podcast, again, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh at acehomeco.com.
Right.
And,
so if you're like you said, business owner, if you're just in the community at all and just have some interesting insight on things or have a question, like you said, questions about anything. It can be, hey, what's your go-to soda? It doesn't matter. Ask us the fun question.
Right.
It just gives us something to talk about and engage with the community, with you guys. And like you said, send it to Josh at acehomeco.com.
Yeah,
That's
and
where
we're
we'll
going to
take questions.
Great. So Josh at acehomeco.com.
And their requests as well. If they want to come on as a business owner or just somebody in the community to be a guest.
Perfect.
Just send it all there and that'll go straight to me and I'll take care of it from that point for sure.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure we respond. Again, our phone number is 864-210-4002. If you feel like you haven't been responded to, if something happens, always feel free to call, because guys, remember, at the end of the day, we're all neighbors.
Right.
We all live in the same community. Our kids go to school together.
Right.
So I'm going to enjoy this. So this is episode 1. And I can't wait for episode 2. I've got a lot to talk about right now, but I'm going to kill it right here.
I'm itching.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, thank you.
All right.